You, I'm sure, are familiar with the boomerang. It's an instrument you throw out and it comes back to you. And it was originally used for a number of different things. One was for hunting, because one could send this out. If it did not hit a target, it would come back to the sender. It also was used for scaring birds into nets. It was used for attack or protection. And it was also used for entertainment, being able to throw the boomerang out into the wind in the right and perfect way, and it circles around and comes back to you. In much the same way, we have thoughts and feelings and beliefs and actions. And when we put those out into the universe, they come back to us also. Let me share with you a picture. This is something I was able to put together. Can you see that? Thoughts are things. So when we put them out into the universe, they come back to us. Thoughts, and feelings, and beliefs, and actions. We're always putting something out, and it's always coming back to us. We are co-creators with God. We are always co-creating with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our words, with our actions, with our beliefs. And it is going out into the universe. Maybe it's going out into the ears of somebody you're near as you're speaking to them. Maybe it's going out into the universe with just the thoughts you're thinking, the prayers you are praying. But we are always co-creating with God. The wonderful thing about that is that we can take charge of the thoughts and the feelings and the words and the actions that we use. We can take charge even of the beliefs that we have. I know that I've had beliefs that have changed over time, and I'm sure that you have too. Something you might have believed as a little child. You grew and you started to see things differently, or you understood things differently, and you formed new beliefs based on your experiences, on what you heard, what you felt, what you came to know. And this is what you believe today. We're always co-creating. So I would ask you to just take a breath and notice what you were thinking. What are the thoughts that you've been thinking more and more lately? Are they thoughts of worry or concern, unhappiness, challenge? Or are they thoughts of gratitude and blessing and feeling this sense of wonder about life and the possibilities you have? Sometimes our thoughts over and over will have a result. If we have a lot of negative talk and worry, we open ourselves up to illness, to weakness anyway. Sometimes something great can come from small thoughts. Just we think about these things and suddenly we are co-creating with God. Several thousand years ago, somebody said, I wonder what's going to happen when I put these two round stones together to help me haul things. It was the technology of the time. It was the wheel. And because of that wheel, the world was changed. Somebody just had a thought. They took action with this thought, and the world was changed. See, your thoughts and beliefs and feelings and actions combine to produce results. Ernest Wilson said this: everything we do or fail to do conditions its own response. What we send out tends to come back to us, increased and multiplied like an echo. Action calls for reaction. Cause and effect are root and branch of the same tree. That's from his book, Like a Miracle. So what we put out into the world comes back to us in some form at some time. What are you putting out there? Back in 1791, poet Robert Burns wrote these words: "May the best day of your past be the worst day of your future." How would you like to hold on to that one? You're really putting something out there that is saying you're looking forward to each new day, each new moment. Also, he said this: may your home always be too small to hold all of your friends. May you live as long as you want and never want as long as you live. And he said this: may the good Lord take a liking to you, but not too soon. And finally, this: may you have warm words on a cold evening, a full moon on a dark night, and the road downhill all the way to your door. See, positive thoughts sent forth bring about positive results. It has to do with our actions. What is it that you're thinking, believing, and doing? The beauty of all of this always is if something doesn't seem to be working, we can change it. That's the power of new thought. That's the power that Jesus talked about when he talked about, as you give, so do you receive. As you pray, so it is for you. As you believe. When we give love, we receive love. Too often, well, I would say sometimes, we are narrow in what we give. And so we give love to a certain person or in a certain way, and we expect to receive that love back to us, at least in kind, if not multiplied. That happens sometimes when we give a gift. We give a gift that we've thought about, and we thought it was a really great gift, and the receiver may not receive it with all of the absolute joy and wonder that we expected them to give back to us. What's important for us to know is giving love does not necessarily mean you are giving love in a narrow way that you have to give it back from the same source, because love is universal. If you are giving love through your smile, your words, your actions, your thoughts, your prayers, your beliefs, then you are receiving love from so many different sources. It's provable. If we are afraid sometimes that what we give, we lose, then we fear giving anything because we're not understanding the principle. It's as you give, so do you receive. So it's the attitude, the belief that we hold as we give. And the opposite is true too. As you withhold, it is withheld from you. We have time, we have talent, we have treasure, we have prayers, we have good deeds, acts of kindness. As we give of our good, we receive more of the same. It's the law. It's a universal principle. You cannot change universal principle, but you can prove it. You can prove it in your life. So we might ask this: if cause and effect are true, then is what I have in my life something I caused, something I let happen? This misery that I feel, this accident that I had, this illness, this financial challenge, Well, the answer is kind of yes and no. See, we are not in charge of all that happens in our lives. We can't control the weather. We can't control everybody's actions or reactions. We can't control politics or world events. But we are in charge of how we choose to see it, to feel about it, to receive it. We can say, if that's what's so what? What is that to me? What is that to you? Whatever is going on. What you can do is observe what is being repeated in your life, what happens over and over, because that's where the beauty comes in that I talked about before. You can change your thoughts. You can change your feelings, your beliefs, your actions. Sometimes changing the action is what causes us to change the feeling, belief, and thoughts, to be more giving in our words, in our actions, to receive a kindness with a true appreciation and an acknowledgement. When we make a shift, we are putting something into the universe. The thoughts and the feelings, the beliefs and the actions make a difference. We're casting out a boomerang. But the truth is, it can't come back if you don't throw it out. You can sit there by the front door waiting for your good to come knocking all day long. But unless you put something out in the world, what do you expect to have come back? Cause and effect is always in action. But strictly, cause and effect is never quite equal. You see, the good we put out into the world, repeated, comes back to us multiplied. That we put out in the world that is maybe short-sighted or coming from a place of fear or doubt or even anger, that doesn't come back as multiplied because of grace, the grace of God. We reap more good we put out into the universe and less of the bad or harm than we put out. Margaret Pounder said this from her book, Laws of Love. Grace has nothing to do with anything that anyone else has ever done, nor with any outward activity on our part. Grace is an inner realization that we are already one with God, always have been, and always will be, and that the only separation is a false belief in our own mind. What we need to do is to trust and take action. Follow your dream. What are you noticing that's happening to you in your world? What is it that you are noticing is happening from you in your world? You may wish to journal about this, to write down what's really working in my life. By the way, if you do that, and as you do that, what's really working well in my life, that is almost like a gratitude journal. And the law says that as you notice these things, you'll have more coming your way to be grateful for. It's a great way to wake up, a great way to go to bed. What's really working in my life? It doesn't mean you ignore what isn't. You might even write that down. What doesn't seem to be working in my life? And then ask the simple question that I pose quite often. Therefore, what is mine to do? I can't change you. I don't want to change you. I want you to change yourself if it's for the better. I can't change the world. but maybe a little bit of what I put out into the world does change it for the better. When I withhold a sarcastic comment or a rudeness that might be coming up and be ready to be expressed from me, and I just take a breath instead, then I am helping to make the world a better world. And as I give a kind word or a wave or a smile or a handshake or a hug, I'm putting out into the world positive thoughts. And we don't know which one of our thoughts, which of one of our actions is going to be making the difference that it can make. I've read so many stories about people who felt really despondent until somebody said the right thing or acknowledged them or did anything, even the smallest thing, that helped them feel like they had value, that they were important, that they mattered. You have value. You are important. You matter. You make a difference in this world. You wouldn't be here unless you were here to make a positive difference in this world. You are here, in my opinion, to prove as much of God as you can. I think that that is a universal purpose. Say, what are the attributes that I can think of that are God attributes? Kindness, compassion, creativity, understanding, love, joy, all of these things. How can I express them every day through my actions, through my art or my music, through my work, through the checks I write, through the way that I treat friends and relatives, and through the way that I treat those who may not agree with me? What can I do to make this world a better world? We need to trust that universal principle works and then take actions as guided. I remember hearing a story about a rancher who worked with horses, and he went from farm to farm, ranch to ranch, and worked with these horses and trained them. And his son had to travel with him, of course, and so his education was spotty. He'd be going from school to school. And he ended up at one school, and by this time he was a senior. And he was asked by his teacher, everybody was, to write down an essay which expressed your dream. And so the boy got excited about it, and he wrote a 7-page essay. And he expressed in great detail his dream of having his own ranch and having all of these horses and having this 4,000 square foot house and a 200-acre ranch. He saw this in big ways, and he turned this in. And when he had it returned to him, the teacher gave him an F. And the teacher said, "This dream is too big for you. You have to write another paper. You have been, unfortunately, poor, in poverty, and this is just too big a dream for you. So please write another paper." And so the boy took it home. He talked to his father. His father just said, "Do whatever you need to do, son." And the boy came back. He turned in the paper. He said, "Teacher, you keep the F. I'm going to keep the dream." Interesting thing was, he was telling this story to all of his friends from his 4,000 square foot house on his 200-acre ranch. And he had this particular story, this essay, framed and put over his fireplace. Your dream is not about somebody else's decisions of its value. You have so much to give, so much to be, so much to express. God is seeking to express in and through and as you. You are only limited by your own thoughts, and you can change those at any time. You can follow your dream, face the wind, throw your thoughts and beliefs and feelings and actions into it like a boomerang. Take a chance to give life the best you can, and it will return to you many times over. It is a spiritual boomerang, and it's your spiritual boomerang. Face the wind and throw with all your might. More good will return to you than you can ever imagine. God bless you.